I arrived as Environment Secretary just about 7 months ago, and one of the things that I've done is to say that we need to reduce plastic in all of our lives. So not only is it the case that across the government estate we're no longer using single-use plastic like this, it's also the case that we've banned the use of microbeads, those tiny particles you get in cosmetic products, which can find their way into the seas and oceans and choke wildlife. It is also the case that we're consulting on a deposit return scheme in order to make sure that we reduce the use of plastic bottles. And it's also the case that we're working with industry to try to ensure that we can make it easier for people to recycle and use more recycled plastic and more recycled material overall. So yes, the situation in the past wasn't good enough, and that's why we're launching a plan today in order to make sure we do things better. One of the things that I've been doing during the time that I've been Environment Secretary is changing things across the board. So this is just one of a number of changes that we've made, and one of the reasons, of course, we're making this change is that all of us have become more aware of the way in which the scourge of plastic is trashing our blue planet and choking our seas. And there's a lot that we can all do. One of the things that the government had already done was to introduce a 5p tax on plastic bags. That's led to a 90% reduction in plastic bags. We're now planning to extend that to the small retailers who've so far been exempt. And it is also the case that we're going to change the way in which we incentivise recycling too.
Which is great to hear, and clearly the plastic bags issue has been hugely successful. One of the frustrations, I think, from Greenpeace this morning is they've seen what Miss May is planning on to announce, is there's a lack of bite, there's a lack of detail, and crucially, there's a lack of urgency over this. 25 years, Mr Gove, is a huge, huge period of time, a quarter of a century to try and get these things in line. Why is there not more urgency from the Prime Minister?
Well, I think one of the things about the course of the last 6 months is that you've seen a series of steps on the environment, not just the things that I mentioned on plastics, but also things like a consultation on an ivory ban and making sure, for example, that we have stronger penalties for animal cruelty. All of these, along with a commitment to a new environmental watchdog, and we're consulting on how we can get that into law, are all examples of quick changes on the ground and a determination in order to make sure that when it comes to the environment, that we have the bodies with real teeth in order to make sure that we leave the planet in a better state than we found it.
How much legal bite is there to these measures today?
Well, one of the things, again, is that there are some legal changes that we've already made. There are others we're consulting on, but we are going to set up, we said we're consulting on it, a green watchdog in order to make sure that government is held to account. And the reason why this plan covers 25 years is that sometimes in the past there's been a here today, gone tomorrow attitude towards the environment. We all know that if we're going to ensure that our planet is in a healthier state, that we need to think long term, take immediate action in those areas that we can, but also think about what's going to happen in the next 10 or 15 years so that the next generation can have a cleaner, greener country in a healthier and more sustainable world. I love Celebrity Big Brother, and I think Rachel is a great contestant, and she's one of many good contestants, and I hope that people phone and vote to keep her in the house.
Is it a period of your life that you regret politically, that decision?
Well, I always look forward, not back. I think the most important thing in politics is, of course, learn from your mistakes, but also concentrate on making a difference. So you appreciate that it was a mistake, then? One of the things that we're doing today.
So you appreciate it was a mistake?
Well, I think one of the things about learning... Well, one of the things that I've learned is that not to dwell on the past. So you're inviting me to do so. If I were to, that would be another mistake, so I probably better not make it.
But you are focusing on the future. Now, Theresa May has said that she will be intending to fight the next general election. So why are you talking about potential leadership candidates? Do you not think that she should stand as the leader in the next general election?
I do, yes. I think that Theresa should be our leader in the next general election. And I think Theresa will be in a position not just to win the general election, but to increase the Conservative majority. But I also think it's the case that we have a wealth of new talent in the Conservative Party. One of the things about the reshuffle this week is that we saw just how broad the base of talent is. And two of our young stars are Gavin Williamson, the Defence Secretary, and Damien Hines, the Education Secretary.
Well, I think,
there are so many talented
standout
people
headline
in government, and the Conservative Party is lucky to have them.
The standout headline from the reshuffle, with all due respect, was how it showed her lack of leadership, that when you invite people into the cabinet and say, I'd like you to move your job to a different department, and they say, no, I'm staying where I am, and she just rolls over and says, OK, fine, that shows she's not a very strong leader.
Well, I think that Theresa's been an exceptionally strong leader. She's showing leadership today on the issue of the environment, and in the reshuffle, she made sure that we had a cohort of talented young people from a wide variety of backgrounds that showed that the Conservative Party is relentlessly focused on making life better for people, not just in the environment, but also improving the NHS, raising school standards, and also making sure that our economy works for everyone. And I think one of the reflections that many people will have at the end of this week is that we are lucky to have so many exciting and talented people in politics on the Conservative benches instead of the tired faces on the Labour benches who are trying to refight battles from the past.
Okay.